Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Be and Beyond, an alumni series by ISA-VESIT, which takes us through the journey of alpha geeks from around the world, wherein they share with us their experience and expertise in the top tier field of technology and science. I'm Rajnandini Verma, your host for today's episode. Today, we have with us Mr. Siddharth Choudhari, a prominent VESIT alumnus who is currently working as an executive engineer at Thyssenkrupp Industrial Solutions and is also appointed as the webmaster and social media chair at ISA Maharashtra section. He has even designed and developed their website. He is also an Exida cybersecurity practitioner. During his course of journey at VESIT, he has been the placement coordinator and has also served as public relation officer at ISA-VESIT. Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi. It's good to be here.
It is an absolute pleasure to have you with us in today's episode of Be and Beyond. Let's get started with the interview. So, sir, the first question for you is, can you please enlighten us about your journey from being a student at VESIT to being the executive engineer present day at Thyssenkrupp Industrial Solutions? What has been VESIT's role in shaping your career?
Yeah. So, first of all, I would like to thank the ISA-VESIT team and congratulate actually ISA-VESIT team to keep such a series and wherein you give an opportunity. I would rather say it is an opportunity for me to be here and interact with you all. And this is a very good initiative. So now talking about how VESIT actually helped me in my career till date. And I think so today we are in July 2nd and more or less around 11 years back, I was running around for the admissions. My 12th result had just got in and then I was running around for admission. And during that time, I could easily get into this in the instrumentation course in VESIT. So 4 years of my career in VESIT and then after that 7 years of my career at Thyssenkrupp. So I think I'm really in a very good position to give VESIT the due credit for whatever knowledge or whatever experiences I had or whatever level of intellect I am right now having with respect to my job. So then during my 4 years of VESIT, I had a very good exposure to technical as well as non-technical. So around 11 years back when we started this, and the things were pretty interesting. So the way the syllabus was kept, we really enjoyed it. And main part or main highlight, whenever someone comes to me and asks me that what is your major highlight as an instrumentation department at VESIT, the one and only one thing that I highlight to them is our laboratories. See, when you are an instrumentation engineer or anyone who is actually related to instrumentation engineer or have seen some plants would really appreciate the fact that we have a very good mini plant setup in our premises. Mini plant setup, it takes a lot of space, it takes a lot of engineering, and it really takes lots of efforts to have that setup, have that maintained, and then have it properly explained to all the students. So that is very, very good and something that I really appreciate at VESIT. What used to happen was there were lectures conducted by very good professors. That is for sure, and everyone really agrees to that. So when we say some critical topics, for example, I would say wall characteristics, or I would say some loops, cascade loops, or something like that. Theoretical knowledge is okay. We learn from books. We used to draw graphs on books. All is okay. But then unless and until we actually see those stuff, we are not in a position to understand anything. We will only understand what we intend to understand and what is our knowledge or intellect level. We will only grasp that. But once you learn the concept, now you have a good theoretical knowledge. You go to your laboratory, you perform the practicals on live setups, and this gives you an entire picture. So now your concept is totally clear and you are in a position to explain it very nicely to anybody who asks you this. So this is something that I really appreciated VESIT. And what happened was, and what was its effect is, I got to see, it was not only something that I imagined that ye aisa hoga. It was not like that. So it helped me to understand and get a good glimpse of it. So this is one very very big highlight in VESIT, and it really helped me to shape my career, because then the what I would say, one approach, some approach my approach was developed like that, to gain some knowledge and then actually apply it in something. And so I was able to visualize a better picture, which actually helped me in my jobs too. So when I'm now engineering a plant or doing something, I used to relate it that yes, I had seen this in my laboratory, and then things actually work like that. So this will also work here like that. So yes, this is one technical part which VESIT has really helped me. Non-technical aspects, VESIT give me lots of opportunities, and one big opportunity was being a part of ISA-VESIT. That is, I'm very happy to say here.
So, sir, the next question for you is, you have pursued your bachelor degree in instrumentation engineering and have been working as an instrumentation design engineer. What specific skill set is required to get placed in core instrumentation domain?
Okay, so got you. So basically about the specific skill set for being in a core instrumentation. So now when I'm speaking as an instrumentation engineer who is working in the industry, after you can be in many domains. You could be in design engineering, you could be in manufacturing sector, you could be in any sales sector for instrumentation. Now whatever I'm going to explain, or I would try to explain, is basically from design point of view only. First of all, when before we come to what skill set is required, I would like to highlight what role you play as an instrumentation engineer in a design consultancy. Now once you get to know what role is there, you can reverse engineer your way to know what specific skill sets are required. Okay, now when you are in a consultancy sitting as an instrumentation engineer, and now you are assigned any project, so your main aim of that project is you have to take care of entire instrumentation of that project. This is your biggest goal, this is your main goal, and then now you break it down into various activities. So now what you do, most logical answer as to what should be your first step is you just decide, you rather populate or make a list what all instruments are required. So as you again move further in your syllabus, you would be coming across terms like instrument index, IO list. So when this is something that is the first step when you start any project. Now you get to know that what all instruments you need to procure. You then move ahead to check if any particular instrument that is there, is it suitable for that application. So suppose you are seeing that there is a pipeline which is having some sort of gas, and then you need to measure flow there, and someone has recommended go for a magnetic flow meter. So as an instrumentation engineer, immediately you should, oh no, what is this, we cannot use a magnetic flow meter there. And then you need to suggest that no, we should go for this flow meter. Same goes for any other parameter. So basically your next job is to select proper instruments which will work and which will give you a desired measurement. Now, okay, now you have selected instruments, you know how many instruments are required. Now next thing you need to do is you need to procure those instruments. Now you know that for all instruments there are multiple vendors available in the market. So you prepare some specifications, you specify what you require, some specific thing, what type of output you require, everything you just mentioned, and then you float this inquiry down to the market. After it goes to the market, you get offers from various vendors. Something similar you do like when you want to buy a mobile. You take out various parameters, you check different vendors. You have Samsung, you need to go for iPhone or not. Then maybe some other vendor, Android or iOS. So you have multiple parameters first which you compare. Then you go to the market, you take some quotation, then you check whether that product actually fits in your budget and fits technically with you. And finally, you finalize, okay, now I'm going to go with this mobile, with this laptop. Same for instruments. So I will be going with this instrument. Now you finalized your instruments. So after this, you have done, means engineered all your instruments, you have sent those instruments to site. Now come some other activities. For example, you are having a pressure transmitter. So pressure transmitter, how will you fit on your line? That you need to decide. So you prepare hookup diagrams. Then there is some level of automation going on in your plant. So you have procured a DCS system. Now you want to connect all these instruments to your control system. How are you going to do that? So this is something that you need to plan and execute as an instrumentation engineer. This is something very, I would say, at least maybe some 30-40% of your scope. There are intermediate and very, very small activities which you need to perform throughout the project. But more or less, as an instrumentation engineer, this would be a role. Now, from this, even you can now judge yourself what specific skill sets are required. I mean, I would say in our curriculum, rather, we get a very good knowledge of the field instruments. You are knowing the principles, you are knowing the selection criteria. So knowledge about whatever you have learned. So knowledge about instruments is something that you need to have as an instrumentation engineer. That is your field. So you cannot go and tell, I don't know how this instruments works. No, that is not acceptable. You need to know this as a basic. Then other things you learn. There are many basic things you learn, like some instrumentation parameters, accuracy, precision. Yes, these are basics which are taught in our second year. This you will carry throughout your life. So whatever basics you have learned in your college, you should never forget it. You should keep them in mind, and also you should know where to apply them. Only knowing them is one factor which is important, but applying them to your projects or anywhere else is another big, maybe important thing that you need to have in your skill set. Another skill set that you need to have is good communication, and I will tell you why. See, when you're sitting in an office and you have generated a document or hookup document, so you have put it, means you have applied your entire knowledge, you have applied your entire mind, you have developed, you know what to do. You have, but at site you will not go to site and you will just yourself do the fittings, yourself do the tubing, everything. You need to communicate these things to the person who is sitting at site. So that's why you need to have good communication. Basically, whatever you have in your mind, you should have one approach that whatever I'm preparing a document, whether the site person will understand. With this, if you create a document, so you really go into the depth and you make the document more and more and more clear to him, so that at site it becomes very easy for the other person to maybe do the things rightly, and more you become more transparent, more easy, and more correct the job here the other person will do. Then other skill set that you would be requiring is, I would suggest you just learn basic software. MS Excel, Microsoft Office, widely used in consultancy, very, very widely used. And I'm saying it in a good sense. See, there is a thought, I don't know, that is being propagated, is that now all work is being done by software. But you have to tell the software what to do. Software will do only the calculation part, but that the programs which are being developed, that is enter your mind. So unless you know things, you will not be able to maybe tell the software what to do. You should have basic knowledge of some softwares, and I would suggest you have a good learning about some MS Excel. MS Word is another thing. MS PowerPoint, yes. AutoCAD is something I would recommend. We have already studied it in our first year. Do not forget it. You keep the basics again of AutoCAD in your mind, and it will really help you later on. Then I would again, another skill set that is important is you have an habit, or either develop an habit to study international standards, because these are widely used in the industry. These are widely accepted in the industry. And then once you have knowledge about the standards, you can easily refer to that standard anytime. So if you're landed up in any problem or stuck up in some situation, you can always refer to that standard and then find a solution to your problem. And finally, as a consultant, as a design engineer, what works the most is having a common sense. Many things, many solutions to any problems you will find by basic common sense. Yes, things are pretty logical out there. You just need to have proper sense. You need to apply your common sense, and you can really find solutions to many problems out there. Yeah, thank you.
That was really a great tip for our current students. They'll definitely keep in mind what to study now and what to keep in mind further if they get placed. So the next question for you is, what was the selection procedure at Thyssenkrupp Industrial Solutions that you had to go through for being at this position which you're currently working at?
Okay. So during my time, so basically when I was in fourth year, so Thyssenkrupp was the first company to approach us and to conduct an interview. And I think the date was around 26 July or 26 August. I don't remember exactly. No, when Thyssenkrupp came, they had a criteria of pre-selection as 60% aggregate and above with no live dead KTs. So that was their criteria. Based on that, I don't remember exact number of students, but yes, the number was pretty good. Now, from Thyssenkrupp, we had two representatives. One was technical and one was from HR. First, we had a pre-placement talk. So they explained what will be our benefits, what is our role there, how much salary and everything. So we had a PPT from them. Then they had an online aptitude exam. So there was this platform called BPAT, okay, on which they had conducted this online examination, online aptitude test. And these tests were pretty, it was logical reasoning, basic mathematics, and yes, whatever basic we read from the books that we prepare from for the interview aptitude. After that, there were around 30 questions, and questions were, I would say, there were many questions about logical reasoning and mathematics, but few questions from core instrumentation part two. So that was a mix out in that. After that, they selected a few of us. They had particular threshold in their mind. They didn't declare the threshold. So they selected the people. Our next round was a group discussion. So again, we had a group of 6, I remember. And the topic that we had was, should India adopt a one-child policy? So yes, we had a pretty good group discussion in there. And there was no filtering out on the group discussions, but maybe the HR and they made some pointers out of it. Later on, I think yes. Then after that, we had our personal interviews. Again, personal interview was a common interview with both the technical person and the HR person. Now, I would just like to highlight my experience in my interview, or what type of questions were asked to me. So the first question that was asked to me was something I'm in fourth year, something that I had learned in during first week of my second year, and the discussion revolved around the accuracy and precision, I would tell you. Okay. And I would say really 10-15 minutes we were discussing about the concept of accuracy and precision. So there were no dead end questions like what is this or what is that. It was all conceptual. That how would you read this figure as, when I say 5% of reading as an accuracy or 5% of full scale, how do you differentiate that? Which is better? So questions were more or less conceptual rather than direct answers. Okay. So we had that question answer. Then secondly, my interview then steered towards again what subject I enjoyed the most. So at that time I liked embedded systems. So I did tell them that I liked embedded system. So again, when I claimed that I like something, the interviewer wanted to know that why I like that thing. And this is not only with Thyssenkrupp. I would say this is a general trait that interviewers are looking for in the students. When you are telling them something, they need to know why have you made that statement. So when I'm telling them why embedded, they will ask me, when I'm telling them embedded, they will ask me why embedded, something like that. So then I could explain, because I actually liked that subject during that time. I could explain it to them. They also liked my answers. Yes. Then finally, what the interviewer person did was he took out my paper, took out the questionnaire which was there for that online aptitude exam. He pointed out to one question and then says, Siddharth, why did you answer this particular option? Again, coming back to the statement. So when you are doing something, when you are making a statement, you need to be very, very clear. Why have you made a statement? And of course, so during interview, tukkebazi nahi chalega. So you need to be very, very clear. You have a good mindset that why are you doing something? Fortunately, I could answer it well to them. And more or less our discussions revolved around this. So I would tell it was not an interview that he's asking me, I'm answering. It was more or less of a discussion. So we discussed few things, and then they were looking at whether I'm having a correct approach. So their priority was approach rather than whether I'm knowing things. Because during your time in office also, you can know things, you can read out things, but then you need to have a particular approach to apply those things in your projects. So yes, majority my interview was like that. And then after that, very fortunately from our batch, it was the first company, it was a core company, and so they picked 5 of us. And so that was a pretty good thing that happened on the first day of interviews.
That was quite interesting, sir. You still remember the first question asked to you.
Yes,
So
yes,
the next so the next question is: would you like to share some of the interesting and challenging projects undertaken by you?
uh, Actually, I've worked in at least 4 to 5 big projects. So there were petrochemical plants, there were refineries. For me, everything was new. For till date, for me, everything is new and everything was interesting. But to highlight few examples, which actually even you can get a good feel of, is that I would not share the entire projects. I would just share 1 or 2 interesting instances, maybe that you would appreciate as an engineer. So then, in one of our projects, there was one service which is oxygen service. Now, when you're dealing with oxygen service in plants, so they you need to be very very careful, because if you see your fire triangle, one of the important thing that could help a fire to grow is oxygen. So you need to be very very careful when you are dealing with oxygen. Now there were so this was the application, and then in that there was this on off valve. So I think you would have seen a valve in your laboratories, correct? So this application was very interesting. So we had to have a rather engineer and procure one valve. So this is an on-off valve which is 8 inch in size, which is to be used in oxygen service. And just imagine that this big a valve, okay, 8 inch size, and you need to close it or open it automatically within 300 milliseconds. Okay, so that is even less than a second. A ball this big, and that is dealing a pressure of around 70 kg per cm square. Okay, so we are standing at 1 kg per cm square, 70 times more pressure than atmosphere. You are dealing with such a critical service, and you need to open or close that valve in such a quick time. So just imagine how, just can we imagine how it will be done? Yes, there are vendors who do this, they have did this, but then this is something I really appreciated, that such an application, and an engineer has as an engineer we are able to find a solution for it. So this is an interesting application that I've built. Another challenging task that I would say is, so there is this plant where a client needs to, there is already a plant set up. Okay, now client wants to expand its capability, but you know that all the clients need to I would say have a particular budget. So what they do is they check the adequacy of existing plant, and they try to use many things which are already there, but they also want to increase the capacity of the plant. Okay, so again there are multiple walls which are spread in the plant. So suppose a valve is designed for some flow, like I would say some 100 kg per hour of flow. Okay, I have selected and sized a valve, but now you want to check if that valve is suitable for 200 kg or 300 kg, which is much more than the capacity. So as what you do as an instrumentation engineer is you have knowledge of the valves. Okay, you have knowledge of the sizing. In such situations, what you do is you take the new parameters, you ask the client or you ask the process engineer, what are the new parameters, how much is the flow increased, how what whether pressure has increased, how much is the delta pressure increased, and then you again check the sizing with the existing walls. But this is really a good activity, this is a big activity, something interesting activity, because then you need to decide whether that existing wall is suitable or not suitable for new applications. And if it is not suitable, then you need to decide what to do. So whether you need to change the wall, whether you need to change only the internal parts of the wall. Okay, so in one of the project I had to do this for around 100 to 120 walls, and yes, that was pretty big task, pretty challenging task, but yes, and all it is a very interesting task. So yes, something I did really enjoy.
By hearing it, we enjoyed it too, sir. So you have been the public relation officer at ISA-VESIT. How was your experience of being a part of ISA-VESIT, and has it helped it in your career? And how value is added by a technical society according to you?
See, ISA in general, ISA Visit or ISA as a society is really close to my heart. And no one told me you join ISA. No one came to me, this is ISA. You please decide to, you please think over and join us. No. During second year, I automatically went. I went by myself. I gave interview and I joined ISA. And really, that was one of the best decision I took in my life, because with ISA is such a society that it is full of us instrumentation engineer, automation community. Yes. And as a part of ISA visit, I really enjoyed the activities or planning or organizing the activities that we had during our time. So during second year, I was just a coordinator, but in third year, I took the position of public relations officer. And that particular post, I am not sure how things go now with PROs. During our time, so there were two sessions planned. So there was one session planned wherein PRs from all the societies used to sit together and then used to decide the dates for first half and second half. And then if there were any clashes, so those were mutually resolved. Now, this was the practice during our time. I'm not sure how it happens now, but then I think something similar would be happening. Okay. So public relations officer helped me develop something I was very weak at, were my soft skills. ISA in general helped me do that, because after that I could easily approach people. I could talk to people. I had a very bad stage fright, but then after that I could somewhat approach the stage and I at least talk something. So I would give this credit to ISA visit. Secondly, being a part of ISA helped me in another way was that during planning of events. So I'm sitting here, I know that my event is coming. So we are sitting in a group, we are planning things. But during that time, I am able to think or was able to think what could the problems could arise during my event. Okay. Once I'm sitting here, once I'm deciding what problems could arise, I am able to find the solutions beforehand. And this is something which I applied in the events. This is something which I'm applying in my current day-to-day life too. And this is something which I'm applying in my job too. So that approach or that mindset had developed because of ISA, and then it has been carried forward with me in my life. And then, yes, so pretty much I like this being a part of ISA visit, and it really helped me and is helping me. It will continue helping me in my future life.
Thank you, sir, for your answer. You are the webmaster and social media chair at ISA International section and have also designed the website for ISA Maharashtra section. What are the requirements to be capable of this opportunity?
Okay. So after I left ISA, rather visit, after passing out, so 2 or 3 years I was not in touch with ISA. Then I remember one year, ISA USA president did visit ISA the Visit Institute. He had visited, yes. And then after that, I don't know, I planned that, okay, no, I also need to join ISA at now, I can join at Maharashtra level. Okay, so I contacted Miss Nilima Varke, Professor Nilima Varke, and during that time I was in touch with her, and she helped me really to get in touch with the ISA committee. And after that, then I was able to join the ISA Maharashtra section. So after I joined ISA Maharashtra section during my first year, I was given this role of webmaster webmaster. And then that time president, so Professor Dattatreya Sawan from ISA Maharashtra, he was the president at that time. He came up and he gave me a task that we need to have a website. So that was the aim or task given to me. First approach was, okay, let's outsource. So then I tried talking to 2-3 people. I got contacts from 2-3 people. Talked to them, understood. My knowledge about IT was totally zero. Website development was totally out of scope. But then I thought, okay, fine, I'll get to learn. I talked to many people. So they gave me solutions, and they gave me some prize. So what I thought was, with some prize, what they are giving me, they will only help me develop this website. but then this website needs to continue for maybe till end, till ISA goes on. So then we will incur more cost during for our maintenance and everything. So then I tried that why not take this challenge? Why not learn the website development and why not do it at our own? And very fortunately, during that time, we were working in a shared office space. So we were was an office. They have this shared office spaces, and we were used to have this courses, or I would say some evening sessions, and wherein they used to call some experts. So there were musical sessions, there was something XYZ. Very fortunately, the week that I had thought that okay, I will develop my website, on same Friday they had this session on WordPress and DV, and two tools which are used for making a website. I thought why not? So I went, I attended those, and then things felt pretty simple for me. So after that, I sat for maybe 2-3 weeks. I designed this website, and then yes, so I was able to deliver this website to ISA. Now, main key point from this is, as you asked the question that what particular skill set you require. The only skill set you require is you need to have the desire to do the job. Once you have the desire, you will really stop at nothing to do it. And many times now you will see that everything is supporting you. So every piece just falls in the place, and then this puzzle gets completed. So yes, most important skill set is you need to have the desire, and then after that, you need to grab the opportunities and have the technical. You need to develop the technical know-how. Yes.
You truly is an inspiration for all of us. Like website development being a totally different field for you, you still took up the challenge and learned it and then cracked it.
Yes.
So, what kind of internship or courses you suggest to the students for developing their skills, and how can they get the most out of it?
Okay. So with respect to now internship and courses, I think after third year, many people opt for internship. First, you decide what is your area of interest. If you are interested in electronics and you are doing an internship at some plant, so that is helpful only on paper to you, but experience wise it is of no use. So I would suggest you just decide your area of interest. After that, now if you see no, I need to get more into process instrumentation, I need to study more into process instrumentation. After that, I would give you a suggestion that you prefer having internship at a place where there is work at plants rather than work at office. Both are equally okay, but preferably it is at plant level, because you need to actually get to see things that those are installed. Once you get to see things, you will be able to apply that knowledge at backend in your office or while designing, maybe sitting in a classroom or something. So here I would suggest you apply for internships at some plants. But again, if you are not able to get an internship there, it is my personal opinion that if you study our laboratory start to end very systematically and with discipline, you do not need an internship for process instrumentation, I'm telling, because we are having a very good setup. We are having field instruments. We are having an automation DCS system. It is something you need to know to get a glimpse or have at least a basic knowledge of what is a plant and how process instrumentation things work. Yes. If you're not able to secure any internship, go for projects, do some projects in laboratories. Even that will help you to get good knowledge of a good knowledge. Yes, that's what I would tell. And with respect to courses, so there are many courses which ISA offers, still then cyber security. But the thing about these courses is you need to have some experience. If you are doing these courses without experience, it will not be of much use, and you will not be able to understand 100% out of those courses. So during your college time, I would personally not suggest to go for these courses, but then you invest more your time either in projects or in laboratories or in internships such as this plants or any office maybe. Yeah.
So VESIT is overall like students can get their hands-on experience by using the VESIT lab and courses that they offer.
That is without question. Okay. Yes.
So the next question is, what things did you learn by being a placement coordinator, and how was this role beneficial for you?
Okay, so placement coordinator is another role that is again very close to my heart, and I thoroughly enjoyed the entire year. Very fortunately, when the placement coordinators came up, or the elections, or I would say the selections or notice came up, so thanks to my classmates, they voted for me unanimously. So I became the placement coordinator. I had no idea during till third year. I had no idea how placements work, what are placements, whether there are any placements in VESIT. No idea at all. But after I became placement coordinator again, then I got to know from our professor Godse sir, Nagananda sir. So they explained me how the process works. And during our time, the team also was pretty good. Everyone really put a lot of efforts. Placement coordinator again helped me in many ways. First is again communication. I got to chance with interact with HRs via phone, via emails. 100% I made mistakes during that time. So there was one mistake, not mistake per se, but then again it happened, just happened. So there was something, a mail that I shot out to an HR, and which was not required to be shot out to the HR. So that was something, maybe a small goof up from end, but then at the end, even our placement coordinator team or the seniors, so they helped me to go through it, and they did not just deter me that, yeah, why did this happen, everything. They took it very nicely and then explained it to me that how things are to be done. So after that, it helped me to improve my communication skills. Then one another thing that I would like to tell as a part of placement coordinator. So me and my friend, my colleague Kalyani. So during Automation Expo, we used to go to Automation Expo every year. So second year, third year, we had went. Now in fourth year, now we had gone as placement coordinators. So we too literally went to every stalls and we were asking them, sir, please come to our college. We are hiring. We are hiring. Sorry, you are hiring. We have the pool with us. So would you like to visit VESIT for placement? Would you like to visit VESIT for placement? We got pretty scary, bad looks from people there because I understood now that there were mostly salespersons there. Yes, so they had a different agenda to be there. We had our different agenda of being there. But then, yes, we did that. And I think we got one or two contacts. So that was something good that came out of it. But then again, another thing that helped me as a placement coordinator is I could just do the things. Before that, I would not plan that. I would go to someone and tell them, please, sir, do this for us. No, but after that, I just went to them and, sir, would you come to our college to hire? So this is something that was developed after I was a placement coordinator. And again, then planning things. It helped me to have a good. I had a memory chart that okay, now tomorrow this company is coming. So from morning to evening, I need to do this, and that was mentally prepared. So I was able to execute the entire day very neatly, very nicely. And one experience I would like to share was, so during my time as a placement coordinator, there was one company and it had delegates from Japan. So they had come from Japan. Okay, so I had to show them our entire lab and everything. And then finally during lunchtime, so our regular protocol was to go to canteen and order lunch for them. But our professor Gopal sir at that time, so he told me that please be careful. Now these delegates are from outside and they will not maybe prefer our canteen food. And I had not thought of this at all. And that was around 12 o'clock. Lunchtime is around 12:30 or 1:40. So I went to them. I asked, sir, what would I have for lunch? And whether canteen food will be okay for you. Then the Indian person who was with him, he told me, I think they will not they will not prefer the Indian food. So at around 12:15, me and my friend, we took his bike and we went to Domino's. We bought pizzas from them. Okay, so this one or two experiences are really good. And then again, it gave me a learning that you need to be prepared for anything. And whatever situation comes, then you need to face it. You need to find a solution from it. And then these learnings I am able to carry out again in my office and in my life further. So yes, being a placement coordinator again had its good impact on me.
That was quite an interesting journey, sir. So what, according to you, do companies look for most in a candidate? What tips would you like to give to our students appearing for campus placements?
Okay. Now, when any company, again, as I told you, when any company is coming to you, so they are expecting that you know what you have done. So when they are asking any questions, whatever answers they expect are with a particular basis. You do not fake off, you do not say anything, blurt out anything. You answer them, and you answer them with a proper basis. When you are appearing as an interview as a fresher, okay, even the interviewer knows that till date are exposed only to the knowledge that you have gained from the books. Okay, even interviewer knows that. So interviewer will not try to ask any high-fund questions there. They will try to ask you only the basics. Even interviewer knows what basics you have learned. So they are trying to test your approach. They are trying to test your knowledge of the basics only. Okay, they know you don't have any experience. One important point I would like to tell you all is that when you are sitting in front of an interviewer, I am not knowing this answer, or I am not knowing the reply to this question is an acceptable answer that you can give to the interviewer. So if interviewer is asking something, you do not panic that Are bapre, I don't know now what will happen. No, you tell them that, sir, I am not knowing this, and you complement or supplement your answer with a why. So, sir, I'm not doing this because I'm not exposed to this during my this 4 years of engineering, or maybe I don't know this because I have not got a chance to read this, something like that. But then I don't know this is an acceptable answer with a basis. So you do not take pressure that if I'm not knowing anything, but at the same time, you need to ask yourself why I'm not knowing these things. So if you are not knowing, some interviewer is asking you how does orifice plate works, and if you are telling him that no, I don't know this, that is not acceptable, because that is something as an instrumentation engineer you need to know. Yes. So the interviewers are looking for this, that how clear are your basics. Then secondly, they will try to test the common sense or common knowledge that you need to have. Okay, so some one or two examples that I would like to give is, suppose there is a field instrument, okay, and there are multiple field instruments. Those need to be connected to your DCS system. So interviewer may ask you that how would you route the cable from this to your control system. Now you may not know this or may not have studied this, but at least you can have a common sense. No, then there are multiple instruments. We'll have a field junction box in between. From field junction box, we'll run one cable in between. Then what all BOM I require? So maybe I'll require a cable tray there. I would require cable glands there. So these are things that someone or professor will not explicitly tell you. But then these are something that you could apply your knowledge there. So even the interviewers are looking at that, how are you able to apply some knowledge that you are having, or how are you able to apply your common sense in solving a particular problem. And then finally, they would just have that, how quick are you to approach any problem, or something like that. And then even I would say that interviewers also look for how involved are you in extracurricular activities. So personally, I feel that if there are two candidates which are both will equal marks and everything, but someone is really into some extracurricular activities, the pointer of preference would move towards that candidate. And I don't know now what is the situation right now, but then during our time, so there was no much emphasis given on how many internships you have done. So suppose someone is claiming that I have done 10 internships, but no, again, if you are able to prove to the interview that I have gained particular knowledge from that internship, then it's okay. But then I have done 10 internships and not able to answer anything. That's something no one would like and no one would prefer. So yes, so here my suggestion again, whatever you are learning, you just be very clear, and whatever you are saying, again, you be very clear and have a proper basis of your answers.
Thank you so much, sir, for your answer. Now our students very well know how to prepare for their placements. So the next question is, you are an Exida cybersecurity practitioner. Can you elaborate on it? Like, what exactly does the job role of a cybersecurity practitioner consist of?
Okay. Now, this cybersecurity, first of all, I would like to tell you why is this an emerging field. See, initially, Now, over the period, you are aware of the concept of distributed control systems, correct? Now, what happens when you want to connect the field side to your automation side or to the DCS side? So you are having field instruments, you are having junction boxes. From that, you connect it to some maybe barriers. From that, you connect to the IO cards, and then you connect to the controller. The controller takes all the action. So you are configured it to for an open loop, closed loop, whatever it is. These controllers, now as an engineer who is sitting in the control room, you need to have access to the controllers. So there are two type of stations there. So there is this operating station, there is this engineering station. From operating station, you are able to see all the parameters and then maybe perform basic functions like you have open or close any valve or maybe have some action in field. And then there is this engineering station wherein you are having more rights. So you can configure any parameters or something like that. Now, if you are having this closed envelope between the field and till the controller or till the engineering stations only, everything is fine. There could be minimum risks of someone fiddling with your systems. Is that only if some operator goes rogue and then he does something on purpose, or maybe someone goes and plugs in an infected USB in the system, and which can affect the system. Now, of late, what has happened is there is this plant set up in some X location. There is a head office where management is sitting in some Y location. Now, management wants to see some data of the plant. Now, what they do is they are having one link. They now configured one link from your controller to the internet and via internet to the head office or something like that. But now, once you have established one link between your controller to the internet, it is not always a one-way communication. There could be possibilities that someone from the internet, someone who is on the internet, is trying to access your controller. And once he or she gets access to the controller, whatever actions you are able to perform from your engineering workstation, from your operator workstation, now he has got the access. And then, I don't know, they could do anything with it. They are not trained or they may have some propaganda with them. Okay. So that is why this term cybersecurity or this cybersecurity study for industrial automation system is emerging. Okay, now what is involved in that? Now again, when I explain the scenario wherein your system is not connected to the internet. So in that you can just think of what are the risks that are involved, which can topple the entire system. So again, as I said, that someone purposefully is doing it, or someone is who is unauthorized to gain access to that system is going in, gaining access to the system, plugging in his USB drive, and then infecting the whole system. So here you can see the risks. Now you know the risks that what are the risks in this system. Then you take steps to mitigate those risks. So what steps you could probably take is maybe you disable the USB connection. Maybe you keep these servers, everything in a closed room. Or next, first, maybe you could set up passwords which are known to particular people only. Maybe you could put these servers, computers in a particular closed room, and this key is handled by a single person. With this, you are now minimizing the risks of something bad happening to the system.
Yes.
Now imagine this at much bigger level. Now your system is connected to the internet. Now your risks are not only limited to some people who are within the organization. Now your risks have increased to someone even who is outside the organization. Now, someone who is outside the organization, who would try to access your system. Now, someone who is trying to play mischief, maybe he would try. But maybe at some bigger level, your competitor, someone from you have a plant setup, you have a competitor's plant setup right next to you. They are seeing you are now making heavy profits. So they try, okay, no, I will hack into his system and I will ruin his plant. This is one of the possibility. Maybe if you imagine big nuclear plants, okay, many countries may have interests in, okay, that if I gain access to these plants, I could create a havoc at the country level. So now your risks have increased. Now, as a cybersecurity practitioner, what your role is? First, evaluate the risk. Now, when I say risk, it is a multiplication of, or I would say a product of, what is likelihood of something bad happening. And if that something bad happens, what is the severity or what are the consequences of it? So as a cybersecurity practitioner, you need to evaluate the risks and you need to take into consideration each and every scenario. And if that scenario happens, how bad things could be. Now you know the risks. So to mitigate those risks, you need to apply some or the other measures. So again, as a security practitioner, another means your job is to know risk and again to suggest or execute measures that would mitigate those risks. Overall, your role as a security practitioner is to make the control system safe from any cyber attack. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for the answer. You're truly an inspiration for all of us. The amount of multitask you do is truly incredible.
Thank you.
So, before we end with the interview, any valuable lesson that you would like to share with our viewers that you learned by your experience over this years? Like right from VESIT to being at the position now.
Yes. So again, I have repeated it many times throughout this session. Again, I'm repeating, keep your basics very, very clear. Develop a habit of studying international standards. See, when you, I don't know if you have studied any standard, if you open up any standard, it looks pretty boring. Okay, it takes a lot of mental concentration to study standards. But then once you develop habit of studying international standards, it will really help you. So it would be my suggestion to go through the standards, just read through it, not necessarily you understand everything, read through it. At some point of time, you would remember that, no, this standard talks about this subject. So if you land up in any problem, you could refer to that standard and then you can find a good solution to it. Then I would tell you that don't mug up things. Okay, never mug up. You learn them, you understand things, and then you would be in a good position to apply everything to it. While doing any particular job, while doing any particular task, not only I would say instrumentation project, any project you are doing, always look at the bigger picture. Okay, if you are doing any action, you think, okay, this action is having this consequence, but then at a bigger level, whether it will have any other consequence or any other. So you always and always look for bigger picture. Always have good intentions at heart. Okay. So again, when you are having good desires, good intention at heart, everything will fall in its place perfectly. And then you will be able to achieve your goal with less efforts. And that is my personal experience here. Then while doing any job in core instrumentation, safety is of prime importance. So not only this, anywhere, while in personal life, while riding bike, anywhere, safety is of key importance. So always give priority to safety and always be true to the work that you are doing. So when you are having any job with you, when you are doing any work, so you be very true to it. Do not, I would say, have a loose attitude towards your job. And this will really help you perform well in your job. And then even your job or whatever you are doing pays you back accordingly. So yes, these are some key pointers I would like to give.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time from your busy schedule and being a part of BE and Beyond. It was such a pleasure having you on our show, inspiring so many students out there by your journey. So, for more such interviews, tune in to our YouTube channel. See you in the next episode of BE and Beyond. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.